This is Ricky Moore with the Burleson Star. I'm here with Centennial football coach Kyle Geller, and this is the week five edition of the 2 minute drill. Spartans open up district play with a 22-21 victory over Everman at home, and this week y'all travel to the defending state champion Aledo, who doesn't have all the players they have from their state title team, but still picked up a win last week over Joshua. So they're 1-0, you're 1-0, you're both 3-1. Quick thoughts on the Everman game. It was a pretty wild one.
Yeah, I mean it's. I hope not every game is like that this year, because I may not live past football season. I might just have a heart attack and fall down. But you got to give it to our kids. I've said it, 3-4 times already, probably on this 2 minute drill. Our kids don't give up and they fight, and so I'm very proud of them for that. It's a good quality to have.
Playing without Jacory Rogers at end. Defense came up with some big plays, especially against a big play team, but they also gave up some big plays.
Yeah, too. Yeah. We have to get some things fixed in the back end. We were definitely out of position a couple times. Simply let the receivers run by us at times, and their quarterback, to their credit, they did a good job throwing the ball and catching the ball. A guy made a great catch one time on that diving catch, but heck, the defense did it when it counted.
Did y'all have single coverage out there, or were they looking for help over the top?
Well, we should have had help over the top.
Okay.
We had one of our safeties in La La Land.
Okay. You finally got Kelton back in on the offense, and he made a couple of big plays. Do you expect? Is it tough to get him in a lot because he's playing so much on defense?
Him and Dylan both. Dylan's been playing more than Kelton. Dylan's a little further along with our scheme than Kelton is. Kelton's still learning some things that in practice and whatnot. You got to have confidence every time. You can't just say, okay, Kelton's in, your package goes down to 25% of what you can do.
Because he doesn't know as many plays, so you're limited.
Yeah, he's still catching up a little bit. Dylan's played quarterback in our city. He's and even Dylan sometimes, it's hard when you play defense. Dylan plays two positions on offense, so it's difficult. So having not played in our offense last year, either one of them, they're still catching up a little bit.
So limited action for Kelton still, but when he gets in, he does things. He and Dylan both.
Yes.
Your slot backs had really a pretty good night overall.
Yeah.
At least they were there when the pitch was being thrown.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're a precision offense, and if you're not where you're supposed to be, or you're not blocking the right guy, it's not just a bad play, it's the disaster.
Y'all were hurting them with Townley on the trap, I guess.
Yeah, we hit the trap a couple times for big plays, and it's funny because we did the same thing last year. Same play with Ricky Van Weasel in the second quarter when we played Everman last year.
How is Townley adjusting? Do you think he's got it?
Yeah, he's doing a good job. The fullback position isn't the most difficult mentally in our offense. It's probably the easiest position, really. But it's also the hardest position physically, I would say. You're going to get hit just about every play.
Because pretty much you're just going up there and Strangler's going to give you the ball or not. And you just kind of have to recognize.
It's aiming points. He has different plays and different aiming points and whatnot. We don't ask our fullback. It's a running back. We don't ask him to block a whole lot. He blocks on pass protections and he'll go out for a pass or two here and there, but there's not a ton to it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Aledo. What have you seen from them? They have, from what I see, a new quarterback, Davis, and they have two running backs they use, I guess. They move in and out. Or are they two back, or are they?
They're multiple. They run about 6 different personnel sets. So they're multiple different formations, and they obviously have a good plan.
Not to slight Aledo, but their last two games has not been against very top competition, in my opinion.
I don't think they can control that.
Why? Well, they could by not.
Play.
I guess.
They're in district play.
Well,
and really,
the team from Mexico, they probably could skip them.
Well, I would say this. If you're Aledo, it's probably hard to get non-district games. You know what I mean? Not everyone wants to schedule up Aledo in week 3.
Not everybody wants to schedule at Centennial anymore, is what I understand too.
Well,
because of your scheme, not because.
Yeah, it's not because we're state champions
like
Aledo.
It's because of your scheme.
So I think Aledo's just fine. It's one of those things. Everybody always wants to knock the guy on top of the hill down. And
I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying.
No, I mean.
I saw the stats for those two games, and 29 and 28 yards total offense. I don't think our defense is that good. I'm thinking the other team's offense is kind of iffy.
Well, I don't know about that. I will say that Aledo probably has the finest defense I've seen on film this year. There's no doubt in my mind. So we have a big challenge coming up.
What makes them so good is their tradition, and kids don't want to be the ones to not win a state championship or not go undefeated. Although they have lost a game this year, but I mean they
lost the game last year.
They want to be They want to be the ones who keep the tradition alive of winning state titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you get when you have a program like that, and that's what everyone strives for.
It's really the next man up syndrome because some of these guys are seniors and they've never really played much until their senior year.
Yeah, it's probably a dream of most of those kids to do what they do, and everyone's fighting to get to that point in their program.
Keys to the game.
Well, obviously, and I say this every week, it's turnovers. You look at the game that they lost. They turned the ball over, which is very unusual for them. But so we have to protect the football. We have to force a turnover or two from them, and up front we have to not get knocked around on defense, and then on offense we have to get some movement on those guys. I'm confident that Peyton can read it. Because he has, since his sophomore year. It's a matter of can we get some movement up front and block the perimeter much better than what we've been doing. I felt like that we left some points out on the field the other night because we didn't get it done on the perimeter a couple of plays.
And you got a pretty special weapon in your kicker. I know you don't want to have to rely on him, but sometimes you may have to.
We don't win that game without Ryan. He put 10 points up there, and so he did a great job, and I couldn't be happier, for him, because he really worked hard in the off season. In the summer, I'd drive by or I'd go out and run an errand and come back to work, and he's out there in 100-degree heat by himself.
When I came up for camp, he'd be out there kicking.
Yeah, he's got his little kicking tee out there, and he's booting them away. He's got a bag of balls. He's taking private lessons. He's done what it takes to get where he is, and I just, knock on wood, you just want him to continue that.
It's nice to have the luxury of knowing chances are good your PAT is going to be good and nothing's going to happen, because then that keeps you from chasing points.
It's all fundamentals, snap, hold, kick. It's fundamentals.
All right. There's your fundamental lesson. This is the 2-minute drill with Ricky Moore and Centennial football coach Kyle Geller, and we are done.